To understand how flight works, you understand that flight goes on a path. When you become a pilot, they tell you that this is military zone, this is commercial zone, this is private zone, this is farming zone. There's actually a zone given to Google so it can take satellite pictures, which we call satellite pictures, but in reality it's just a plane going 10,000 feet and taking pictures all around. So there are zones. Now, if you have a plane, you can't just fly up. You need permission, you need to do a flight plan, you need to go on a flight path, all has to be authorized. So when you're here and you want to fly, they tell you it's restricted.
You can still go through it. It's not like you just can't go in.
Who's late?
In this case, if it's aviation, then it's the aviation authorities. If it's maritime, then it's the sea authorities. What's the answer?
Someone goes past that.
They will stop you just like they do with a plane.
Who? How and who?
You have military boats and you have military planes. F-16s will be there in 3 minutes if needed.
The air's pretty vast. You can't have an aeroplane every
So now if you go up to Buckingham, when Manchester United and Liverpool are playing, what do you do? What happens if you run towards the field? What happens? Someone's going to attack you. That's called security. The same thing happens if I go to Buckingham Palace and I decide to run with my free car in a free democracy. They're going to stop me. Who? The security.
No, don't forget, a guy actually broke into Buckingham Palace twice.
And the White House.
And he actually sat on the edge of the Queen's bed for 15 minutes. So it's possible. Anything's possible.
Yes, but what we have here is much more sacred, and you have heavy security, especially after stuff like the Antarctica Treaty that took place in the late 50s, where they decided to seal it off, and it first started with 12 countries, then
like
it
a religion.
expanded
It's
to
kind
70.
of like, here's my God, but you can't see him.
Have you heard of Richard?
You've got to believe it's there. Believe the God's there.
I don't want you to believe in it.
Believe the God. Believe in Jesus. Believe in
Why is
Muhammad.
no one ever done it?
Believe. You
Why
can't
is
see
no
it.
one ever done it?
Some have
Don't
tried
trust me.
and they were stopped.
You can't see it.
What's the argument about
Yeah, but how? I mean,
astronauts?
when did it start being controlled? When did it start being controlled?
In the late 1950s, they sealed it
Like
off.
what they do is they send up these rockets. And then they
We had people like Richard Byrd. I'm answering you. They had people like Richard Byrd, who's an admiral in the military, and he went on several trips. He took 3,000 personnel, he took 5,000 personnel, and he took 7,000. And he came back and he gave a complete documentary historical information about it. And that's when we found out it was a big country, and then that's when they sealed it off. But there's lots of voyages that took place before that.
Before 1950s that
I
actually
really
got
worry
I'm explaining.
about the future.
Just give me one example.
Richard Byrd in the 30s and 40s and 50s were military personnel at once. Before that, remember that the zones there are freezing. Now, before that, I don't know. I'm telling you the history. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to question. I'm not here to pretend I'm a god, because this isn't a belief system or any sort of religion or spirituality. We're all here to learn. And I was in 4 years ago, obviously much more smarter. But you know what I mean. And if I didn't confirm for myself, I'm not going to be here making a fool out of myself. I have a cousin that hates my guts, and every day she hates me more because I'm proving her how right I am. You know what I mean? I have a cousin that did a $10,000 bet with me that he can prove that there's a satellite up, and he couldn't. I had another person that wanted to prove that there was a dinosaur bone, and they couldn't.
Why? What was their reason for lying to us?
It's a control mechanism.
And look what's happening over here.
It's like when you have a child,
What did they gain from that? What did they actually gain from it?
you're being controlled.
I know that. That's it. But what is their reasoning to control people? What difference does it make if it's circular? What difference does it make if it's flat? What is the difference?
It's where you are, because when I tell you that this is the construct called Earth, and we have stars benefiting us, we're all brothers and sisters. We have abundance of water, abundance of agriculture, abundance of minerals. None of us should be suffering. All of us could live to the age of 200 minimum. All of us should be healthy and happy. We should be using our creative side, the right side. We should be living as a united Earthians.
Oh, is that before? And certainly since mobile phones.
Not
and
interested.
things like that, yeah. So all of that to explain why he hasn't got to the edge.
I'm leaving to
Until
2:30 exactly, 1 hour.
Yeah. So if it wasn't controlled
It's okay for time.
what happened to all the people that have been to the edge?
Again, you keep calling it an edge.
What is
What
it?
would you call
What
it?
would you call
An
it?
area outside our accessibility right now. Nobody here would bet his life or tell you what there is. We're here to tell you there's been an effect on rainbows and lightning, and we've been testing it. So if there seems to be a special ionosphere of ions, what we can call a dome, don't look at it as some just crystal. And I can explain to you effects that are taking place. Have I touched the dome? No. Have I touched this crystal? No. But I know the effects that take place. There, I'm giving an example of what happened. So I'm here to question, why are we being lied to? And this all goes back to the moon landing. It all goes back to 2 documentaries that you can watch today. And what's beautiful about these documentaries, you're actually interviewing the astronauts that went up. And when you interview an astronaut that just got to the moon, you'd expect him to be like, I just came back from the moon. It was amazing. The stars, the this, the that, giving 5, explaining, full of energy, compassion, doing 50 interviews a year, whatever it is. He turns out to be scared.
No, but didn't Buzz Aldrin...
That energy
Buzz
of
Aldrin
treason...
punch someone in the face for having this opinion?
Yes, Buzz Aldrin, yeah.
Because he was just so annoyed with the stupidity of
Yeah,
it.
so you're an astronaut, a guy's
point,
asking you to swear on a Bible, you punch him in the face.
You just missed that point when they came back, when they were being interviewed. They were terrified. Watch that interview.
Just watch
Yeah,
it.
but if you'd gone
Yeah,
to
but-
the
yeah, but
when no
these-
one else
these-
has ever been before,
yeah, but
you'd be
these-
terrified.
Yeah, but
You're back on the ground and you're being celebrated by
They're not
50
football
journalists.
players.
You're not going to do this scared.
I've been in some situations.
And it's not one, it's 50 astronauts. Watch it.
Could you
Listen.
imagine, you know,
Watch.
what's the mass that
I
Einstein...
I wanna ask you a
what's the
question.
mass that Einstein did? He said the word eureka.
I don't take
He's
medicine.
not going out and going, "Whoa," like this.
I haven't taken medicine in over 5 years.
Through New York with all the astronauts.
I don't
Yeah,
eat
they kinda
meat,
did, really.
I don't eat chicken, I don't eat fish,
Have you
I don't
watched
eat
this
eggs, I don't drink milk,
What, which-
I don't
have you
do weed
watched
or
these
drugs,
when they
I
come
don't
back?
smoke, I don't do alcohol.
But they would have
I'm not
Have you
religious
watched-
at
all
all.
I'm saying is,
I'm
forget
spiritual,
about
and
what
spirituality
they're
to me
saying.
is a physics we have not understood
Research
yet.
itself.
In this world that I'm
What your
discussing,
concern is-
what's the subject? It's called health.
What your concern is
Correct?
that they
Health.
weren't excited
I'm
enough.
telling you, in the world of health,
Is that what it
Big
is? Is that what
Pharma
you based
is
it
not doing its
Very,
best
very
to
tenuous
teach
one.
you and educate you
Right.
about
And the
health.
fact that they were
On the
contradicting
contrary,
each
it
other.
wants you to always go to the
Some
doctor,
say they saw stars,
believe in the
some
doctor,
say no, we saw
believe in the
nothing.
medical system,
Okay.
be diagnosed by
They're all giving
something, be put on a
But are
special
they contradicting
medication.
that they all went
This
up there?
medication has its own side
Were they all
effects.
contradicting each other about what they saw up there?
Exactly.
But what does that have to do
Or
with
that they
I'll
even
explain
went,
it. So there's a deception in the medical. There's a deception in energy because in reality we have countries like Costa Rica.
For you to go away and say, look, you know, like this guy,
Research
he
it.
said some good
Don't
stuff,
trust
yeah?
me, just research
this.
it. Costa Rica has 99% renewable energy. Correct? Why can't the whole world be like Costa Rica? Research it. So what I'm telling you, there's illusions taking place. Now this, not everybody believes in it. When we were in science class and they told us about the stupid ancestors that believed in the flat earth, and we mocked that turtle flying, and then they told us about the ball and why ships disappear on the curve in the moon landing, I was like you. And for 30 years I was like you. And I explained previously that I wanted to go with Elon Musk's SpaceX, and I actually was listed on one of Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic. And when I became a pilot, I was like, you know what, if the ship hits the planet, I was living in South America, and instead of 30,000 pounds in London Heathrow Airport, there the cost was $12,000. I was like, let me become a pilot, because I'm going to have a family, and I want to be able to get them out of, and I became a pilot. And at that point, I didn't believe in any of this. What I did know, growing up, the moon landing was fake. And I went to NASA in Houston, and I went to NASA in Florida, and when I was on my honeymoon in Hawaii, there was literally a convention taking place where there was over 80 NASA employees, and I sat down with them for 3 days on the bar, drinking my drinks, drinking my mojitos, and laughing with him, and we were both conversating about this. On the third day, he's like, what can I tell you? I couldn't prove you wrong. When I was in NASA headquarters, the guy that works there told me, listen, I just work here, what can I tell you? My cousin married someone very big in NASA, and he hasn't been able to prove me wrong. I have a relative who works for a very big communication company that paid millions to get a satellite up in space, and he hasn't been able to prove me wrong. Now, I will change my mind in 30 seconds if I have the evidential proof, but I'm not going to teach my child about Santa Claus, nor about the world that doesn't exist.
So how has it bettered your life learning that the past? How has it bettered your life learning that the earth is flat?
I found out that we're all brothers and sisters. I found out that there's no reason to ever live in fear. I found out that God or prana or universal consciousness or this beautiful force that you call it is within me. I found out that I can survive just on air and water and basic fruits. I found out that we have abundance of energy. I found out that we should not live in a world of competition but a world of cooperation. I found out that religions are fear-based. I found out that the history we've been told is a lie. I found out that the pyramids of Egypt are not pyramids made for mummies, but are power stations. And there are more power stations in China and in America than there are in Egypt. I found out there's so many lies, and history, which is his story, was being illusion, which made me become agnostic and question everything. And if he tells me something, I'm not going to tell him liar. I'm going to research it. And if it's true, great. I will start preaching it.
So you're doing an investigation and finding out what is the truth is more important to whether it's flat or not.
The world being flat is basically a way for you to understand that you are the center of this earth. And when that happens, you move out of the ego and you become eco. You move on to the me, and you go into the we. Why? Because you realize you have a responsibility. Versus you speak to any new future generation, he'll tell you, yeah, this place will probably explode in 10 years. I'm going to be in the first trip to Mars. I'm going to be in Neptune. You know what? I'm going to find another galaxy and they're going to name it after me. It's a mindset. It's a mind construct.
So the journey of investigation, challenging beliefs is what's more important than
Science,
the
not
platform.
beliefs.
Okay, science.
That water
It's more
boils
important
at a
than-
certain degrees. I want to confirm. Now, when I found out there's a deception, and when I found out the scientist of the century, Nikola Tesla, died broke at the age of 89, and he gave you 400 patents. Your Wi-Fi, your radio, your induction motor, your electricity that you use came from a guy that died broke. How would you accept that as a human? Tell me. Instead, all the kids, who's the smartest guy in the world? Tell me. He's going to say Einstein. Yes or no? Why? Because Einstein gave us something called string theory. Theory of relativity. The only thing Einstein invented was a compressor that they used in the back of an AC. That's it. And helped a little bit with photons and photovoltaic sunlight.
He managed to sell it. As a product, he managed to sell it.
Yes,
And that's why it's
100%.
famous.
They managed to sell it. They even asked him to become the president of Israel. You know that story. He was violent, he was aggressive, he was an alcoholic, and he was an image. Versus a man like Tesla is a man we're supposed to not worship because no one should worship anything. At the end of the day, Tesla didn't invent. When I get a magnet and I do this, and I turn it on a copper, and I see electrons floating, I just created electricity. But this is something, an invention we discovered. Why, when we were growing up and we thought of fire, the only thing we could think about was this wood? Why didn't they teach us about the magnet and the copper growing up? This is information we should have learned about.
There's a lot of knowledge that we should have learned about.
Yes, first thing they're supposed to
Alexander.
First thing you're supposed to teach a child who's a sponge for the first 7 years is how to breathe. The importance of filling up your body with oxygen, getting carbon out, putting your alkali levels up, putting your immune system up. Then teach him how to plant seeds. Teach him how easy it is to survive just on fruits, correct? How to work as brothers and sisters, how to love thy neighbor. Instead, what are we teaching him? What are we teaching? What's your favorite cartoon? Simpson. Have you done any course on plumbing? Do you know anything about plumbing? Why? Teach him plumbing, teach him carpentry, teach him how to sew, teach him how to communicate. You know what I mean? And get him off the sugar. Sugar is killing all of us. It's not the cigarettes or the drugs or any of the above. It's the sugar.
So if the world's flat, then does it end or does it fall off, or how do we travel?
So far, the construct that we are looking into that could be more of a possibility is a style like this with very high cliffs around it, and there's a curvature. And this is a construct that people look at. I personally don't even know because I haven't been there. But what I do know is that we're not a ball where your cousin is upside down in Australia, and we're not spinning, and we're not flying through a galaxy that's flying through an expanded universe that took place from the Big Bang with the electrons or protons that turned into bacteria, then became water, then became life as we know it, from the baby tadpole all the way to this beauty that's in front of you right now.
How do you know that? How do you know that that's not true?
I've done special experimental, observable, and repeatable method-based experiments to see whether we are on a ball. And I have seen first-hand experiments from people I know or second-hand people that people I trust. And they're all basically proof that the first thing we used to think growing up is ships disappear because there's a curvature, correct? So I looked at the sea, I saw the ship, it did disappear. Then I took a nice Nikon camera, I zoomed in, and the ship appeared again. 10 minutes later, the ship disappeared. I stretched my zoom more, the ship appeared. 10 minutes after that, the ship disappeared. I got my telescope, the ship appeared. So it wasn't about a curvature, it was a vanishing point. That's an example that I gave you. And just like this, we did a lot of other experiments. Again, we would change in a second if NASA or any space agency just shot up a live video all the way to space. But they don't do that. They show you the first 10 minutes, then they go into CGI, then they show you the docking stage, where the spaceship does this unlock. And in reality, it's all filmed underwater, in huge aquariums. You know that now you could be listening to Rihanna on a live concert, and while you're watching her, they've modified her body size, they've made her taller, they've made her darker. While you're watching it live, do you know that technology exists? And that's what they use these days.
How do you know that?
Just look up virtual imaging. Just Google that. But
Yeah, no, how do you know that they do it in space?
in space.
How do you know that they're doing it to make the Earth?
Because there's been so much glitches and so many errors that we found out. Example, when we look at a photo of Earth, we all thought that this is Earth, correct? Google Earth. Then you see 10 different photos of Earth where America's this size, America's this size, America's this size. Then NASA found out that, people are finding out this, so then they changed the information. They're like, no, but these are images. These are ribbons of information coming in, and then we put them up together. Then you see a part where you have identical skies because the guy's just photoshopping. Stuff like this. Again, nobody's here to ridicule or be mocked or be called an idiot. That's why, forget about the word flat earth. We're here just to say that we've been deceived on every level, and these people deceiving us are us. If you're on a team that's winning, they've been winning through cheating, and you cheated, what are you going to do? Say, by the way, all these cups we have earned through cheating? No, you're going to continue. Because you need to win. And that's what's happening. And I, 4 years ago, was part of them, let's just call that. And I today can decide to do bad, and I decide to do good. We should go towards spirituality, towards love and compassion, and not live in any sort of fear-based society. And this is only tip of the iceberg. When you start understanding the shit, where I am is fake. Leonardo DiCaprio, Johnny Depp have their own islands. There are people that have their own baby countries. But this is trying to live a better life, based on passion, based on ego, not ego. Based on love thy neighbor. What does love thy neighbor mean? Love my neighbor. Thank you.
If I'm moving with my arm in front of me and I'm not looking at what's around me, how can I know?
Do you
that
believe
I'm
in
not-
science?
Yes.
If we look back at the history, other than very famous people like Samuel Robotham, who's considered a PhD and a founder of Flat Earth, he did over 200 experiments, okay? From lighthouses, seeing islands from 50 miles away, stuff like that. And then there's some experiments like the Sagnac experiment, like the Michael Morty experiment, okay, Aries failure. These are real experiments where they sent a light one way, a light the other way, and they were both going to come back through mirrors. And later. So basically, in all these experiments, they found out there was no movement, and they found out we're not spinning.
Is
now,
it one person
have you been
versus
to
all of them?
Have you been to Madame Tussauds Auditorium? You should go there. You're sitting in a structure where the sky goes around, and that's all it does. Now, 2,000 years ago, they were telling us where planets were. How? When they didn't really have telescopes, because they would see the same planet be at the same location every single year, every single month. It's nothing complicated for you to understand. I can predict where the sun's going to be every single day for the whole year. I can predict where the moon is going to be every single day for the whole year.
From our point of perspective.
Now the sun is like this, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, example. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6. That's what you think. In reality, all it's doing, it disappears. There's something called a vanishing point because there's converging lines. Where as something goes further, it's going to go down. Okay, now this is the sun. The moon does the same thing. Planets are exactly the same thing, but they move this way.
Just because you don't understand relativity.
I study celestial mechanics, orbital mechanics. I've been doing quantum physics for 7 years. I can break it down to you.
Okay.
What?
Which university?
Resonance Academy in Hawaii. Okay. And my profi, listen, my profi is yes, it is Resonance Academy. Okay, Nassim Haramein, and this guy is completely against us. But the point is, why do I know? Because I'm with them. If you want to know information, you have to study everything. For me to talk about this, I have to have read a lot of Brian Greene work, a lot of Neil deGrasse Tyson work, yes or no? And I still do as much physics as I want all the time. Why? Because I want to know the truth. And if you send me a monkey with a camera on a rocket, a live video all the way to space station, all of us would shut up. And I would close this thing down, and I would make sure none of us exist, but they don't do that.
But they have done that.
No, they haven't, not live. They put it, just when you can't see it, they shut up, and they go to 3D, and they go to CGI, and then they show us it docking. We're not stupid. We're here to really talk about science.
Are you sure you studied
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure.
You don't really sound like an academic to me.
Why not? Why? Because I'm talking about something else? If I told you Einstein was full of garbage, would I still sound as an academic? Explain to me how AC works. Explain to me how Wi-Fi works. Explain to me how radio works. Who invented them?
They're not invented.
Found by who?
It's light.
By
It's
who?
the same as light.
Who found it?
You can observe it. You observe light around you.
Who found it? Who discovered it?
It's not a discovery. It's
Okay. There's something called a patent where you register a discovery, and his name is Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla invented something called alternate current. He invented something called radio, Wi-Fi, all of that. Obviously, I liked what you said. He didn't invent, he discovered. But you guys don't learn about him. You guys learn about Einstein.
Of course we know about this stuff.
You've heard, but have you ever gotten a magnet in class at the age of 6 and rubbed it around the copper and see how electrons set off? Have you ever really gone into this crazy easy world of creating energy? Have you ever been taught how to plant?
Yes,
Okay, listen.
we're studying science.
Listen, my point of the story is science is broken down into 2 parts, experimental and theoretical. We are for experimental.
No, we do theory and then do survival.
Great, great. Then that should be easier for you to start understanding what we're talking about. If there is a curvature, then there's a formula to it. This is called the Pythagorean theorem, where it says that every mile squared times 8 inches is the drop you're supposed to get. So if I go to the waters and I see a lighthouse or an island 30 miles away, there's something going on. You understand? They're not supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be capable of seeing that island 30 miles away because there's supposed to be a drop. That's 1. 2. If I have 1,000 pictures of the moon and the sun and I have on Facebook, I can show you now. Why can't I have a live video zooming into Earth, going back, doing a nice zoom on the moon, going back in space? Why don't I get that? 3. Why is water always level? 4. Give me a scientific proof of water sticking to a ball. 5. Why did Neil Armstrong was shivering with his pen, not knowing what to say after he got to the moon? Why in Astronauts Gone Wild, and a funny thing happened to the moon, these are 2 documentaries on YouTube by Bart Sibbel, you realize that these astronauts are just scared and they keep saying, hey, take it up with NASA, we're just passengers. We have nothing to do with all of this. Why? Instead of saying, hey, are you crazy? Are you against me coming to the moon? Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me do this. My point is, it's a very easy debate for them to shut us up in. If I was the government right now, I'd shut everyone up in 1 hour. Why don't they do it? Because they can't. And when you look at the history of Operation Paperclip, how they bought 4,000 scientists from Germany, how the founder of NASA, Werner von Braun, is a German Nazi scientist, who on his grave, Psalms 19.1, he says, the kingdom of heaven shows its glory through the firmament, then you realize something's going on. This is all a discovery, a journey you must take on your own. If you're not interested in this, forget about it. It was easy for me because I became a pilot. I have my private license, credentials. It was easy for me because I've been doing quantum physics for 7 years. And it was easy for me because I tried to get into Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic. He said I would go on, and then the ride never took place. I've been following Elon Musk for a very long time, and I love science. And all I do is take pictures of the moon and of the stars, and I'm a big researcher into Nikola Tesla, more than you think. More than you. I literally went to his museum, I met people from his family. So I'm not here to fight with anyone. I'm here to promote love and compassion, especially to the new generation. And my problem are you guys, my cousins. I have somewhat PhDs who think they came from monkeys, who wish that 1 billion people in Africa and Asia would die. And the Middle East
said we come from monkeys. That's not even true.
Okay. Oh, good. So now you're an ancestor from the monkey.
We're cousins.
Cousins. Oh, second cousin.
Or like, if you want to say cousins,
I'm not. I'm a
that's
cousin
fine.
of a pig, to be honest. The point is, we're here to talk science right now. You can't come to a table without doing your experimental physics and proofs. Okay, we're just here to promote truth.
We're not promoting conspiracy.
No, you're associating. Look, when I was your age, we laughed about religions. We laughed about the idea of flat Earth. We laughed about our stupid ancestors who thought that the Earth was flat. I'm like you, and I loved Star Wars, and I loved the Big Bang, and I loved electrons and photons flying through this gravity and this beautiful gravitons with this space-time construct and the condition and how they became bacteria. Then the bacteria started evolutioning into this beautiful fish, and then monkey. I loved it too.
Okay. Now, no one said graviton has been proven. It's proved first. It's just a theory.
Yes, but what we explain why things go up and down is not a theory. It's called density and buoyancy and electromagnetism, and it will work every single time.
You tried to say it was proved, and I was saying you can't prove gravity, and you were saying you could.
No.
You told me you could prove gravity.
Yeah,
Well,
but no, I'm saying graviton. Graviton is particle associated to
no,
gravity.
gravity holds water to a ball. You said you could prove it to me, so I was asking for proof of that.
Yeah, because,
And you give me an equation. You give me an equation on a piece of paper, and I said that's not proof of anything because it's a language. I said math is a language that helps explain something. It doesn't prove something in nature.
If you see, just do the experiment on, I don't know, if you do the experiment on space, You see. That's
Look at this. Nassim quantity gravity paper. See this? Are you watching? Nassim quantity gravity. Look at this. Gravity, quantity, and the holographic mass. Nassim. This is all quantum physics and all about Einstein's equations and how he continues it. This guy is my property and he promotes everything you're saying gravity. I'm here to tell you this is garbage because this is maths. Maths will always describe something, but it will never explain why this folds, why steel sinks in water and plastic stays or rubber stays is all about density, nothing else. Wood is less dense than water, yes, so it stays up. Steel is more dense than water, so it goes down. Helium is less dense than water, than air, so it goes up. Bubbles are less dense than water, so they go up. It's all about density and buoyancy. Now, when you talk about, no, but why is it going down? Then I'll enter the electrical universe with you, and I'll talk about anode and cathode, and I'll talk about electromagnetism. You see, in science, you PhDs now, we describe the photon, okay, and the proton as forces that are keeping it together. There's no longer something called the weak force and the strong force. We call it electromagnetism and gravity. For me to come here and stand here, it's because I understand science. If I never took quantum physics or experimental physics or orbital mechanics or celestial mechanics, I wouldn't stand here. My problem is I'm an old man and I'm getting older, and what I care about is spreading new knowledge. Because my cousin wants to wear her mini skirt just so she can drive next to Max, and she lives in this materialistic bullshit world of banks and me instead of we. She really wants half the population to die because she believes in scarcity and lack of space. So I'm here to tell her, silence. You're supposed to be living in a world where fruits and vegetables are abundant, where you have 14D technology printing Lamborghinis and houses, where free energy is supposed to be unlimited, where your right brain of creativity is at its maximum, and not this fear-based bullshit of 40 hours going to university, being indoctrinated, saying I got an education and I'm not going to ask questions. And then you tell me 99% of scientists don't know anything. Obviously they don't. They're compartmentalized and they're departmentalized. I speak to NASA personnel. What can I tell you? They're nice people. They're nice people. And the guy that makes seatbelts for spaceships, he's amazing. And the guy that checks the combustion pool is amazing. But they have nothing to do with the people hiding. This is just tip of the iceberg. We're not into this. Us who promote this, we're not even into this. We're talking about very crazy stuff like activating your DNA. We're talking about plants communicating. We're talking about flying through different realms. You know what I mean? We're much more advanced. So this is a first step for you. If you still believe in the moon landing, you're wasting your time here. There's a beautiful girl waiting for you. Go chat to her. Do you believe in the moon landing?
Of course I do.
Then why are you still standing here? Why are you still standing here? Yes, it's a fact, just like Santa Claus. I swear to you, they're both facts. I saw Santa Claus when I was young 4 times, and even the tooth fairy left me a tooth under my head. That's a fact. And 1,000 kids will back me up. Yes, that's a fact. Don't waste your time here. You're wasting your time.
You're wasting your time.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I'm with my family. Who are you with? These are my family. Who are you with?
I don't need
He's
people.
wasting our time. Police, get him out of here.
I don't need people to support me.
200, nobody supports you. A bunch of indoctrinated fools who are waking up, okay? 200 proves the world is not educated, okay? What you're doing is being indoctrinated, that's it. If you're educated, you're gonna be looking for intelligence. Intelligence is information all across the world. Don't be afraid. We're not here to hurt anyone. My family are responsible for stuff like this. You know what I mean? Masons are my family. Bad, evil people in my family. You know what I mean? So what I'm here to tell you is, let's choose peace and love and compassion, and you're going to see this beautiful earth. I'm willing to lead, not because I want to be a leader, but because I know for a fact that I love everybody equally. Whether you're black or Chinese or an Arab or a Jew or any race, I see all of you as equals to me.
Absolutely.
Okay? That is the truth. And when I'm in the train in New York City and I'm stuck with 20 people around me, I love the smell of each one. I love the smell of the Latino, of the Indian, of the Paki, of the Arab, of the Jew, of the black. That's who I became now.
What's your relation with flat Earth? I'd just like to know, maybe.
No, it's just a simple thing. They're telling me that the North Pole is freezing. They're telling me in the South Pole is freezing. They're telling me that these are the countries we're in.
Well, you should go.
Listen. And they're telling me that there's no way out except for this way. And they're telling me that everyone has diseases and everyone's going to be sick, especially genetically. And they're telling me that we have a problem with oil and energy. They're telling me that there's a problem with divide and conquer and hatred, and these Arabs want to kill everyone, and those Muslims want to kill the Sunnah, and the crazy North Korean wants to kill. Wait a second. And they're telling me that I have to pay tax and wait 40 hours a week. They're telling me that, like me, there's billions of different planets. All these things. when you find out all of that is nonsense, this is something we can prove now. I can't prove who killed John F. Kennedy, although the last president who did Executive Order 10025, who tried to abolish the Federal Reserve, got killed, and he spoke to people like you. That's your first evidence. Look at the last speech of the last 3 American presidents.
Three.
We are being controlled. There are secret societies. Take my words. We are being attacked. Why don't you believe a president of America who got killed, who was the first and last Catholic president? Explain to me. Why don't you believe Tesla, who died, telling you they're swapping experiments for stupid equations?
That everything you're saying is just nonsense.
My friend, you believe in Santa Claus. What am I going to prove to you? You believe in the Tooth Fairy. You do. Yes, you do. It's the same thing. So why am I going to waste my time with you? Now I wasted enough talk with you after speaking to these amazing gentlemen.
Got a sore throat trying to explain.
Okay, please.
Just proving you're saying
Get a lighter. Get a lighter. You have a lighter? Burn this. Kill us. Yeah, that's what you want. You don't want to hear.
No, I'm
Start by 200
I
proofs.
tried to convince you.
You tried to convince. How old are you? 5 or 9? How old are you? 5 or 9?
So you.
How old are you? 5 or 9? I'm asking you a question.
I'm 19.
Okay, good. Start with 200 proofs the Earth is flat. History of flat Earth. Go to the sea. Buy a P900. Start taking photos of the ships, of the stars. Go to NASA. Ask them you want to read photos of the Earth. Then research everything to do with Bert Sabran. Funny thing happened to them on the way to the moon, and astronauts gone wild. And start researching. And end of the day, if Santa Claus is part of you, it's part of you. But don't waste our time. Okay, because you are, like the Matrix says, you're that guy that wanted the steak and sold his soul. Remember him? Tastes good. That's who you are. Cypher. Yeah.
This is what's being offered to you here, is a red pill, where you can choose to take the blue pill and stay within the Matrix.
But don't tell anyone. Because if you tell anyone, they're going to put you in jail or make you psycho. What you're going to say is, you know what, Mike? I've got a problem with the ball earth theory. I don't have enough experimented, physical, observable, testable proof to support it.
Are you in jail now? No, you're free to speak. Okay, to speak, right? To speak.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
So are you...
No, I can't. Freedom of expression is these days on the social media. And when we have websites being shut down, when we have Facebook pages being shut down, we're not free anymore. This is our last inch of freedom. And the first thing I asked one of those flat earthers that was talking to me, you are CIA, aren't you? You are FBI. Because it's not easy for them to be here, infiltrating us, laughing at us, and taking pictures and taking names. So we're not free, my friend.
I haven't taken any pictures. You can taking videos. I don't mind. See, that's exactly contrary of what you're saying, right? It's exactly.
See, all of us, we pay taxes. We have no problem with financing a monkey with a camera being flown all the way to the space station. Okay? We want the live videos all the way, like this, all the way to the space station. After the change of atmosphere, the Van Allen belt, that thing, and then he comes out, trajectory, and then he goes into a gravitational lock. We want that live, and we will destroy anybody who messes with the Santa Claus believers. Until then, don't waste my time. Go find yourself a nice girl, because you're wasting your time. Because we became this after we were you for 30 years. You understand? I spat on a spiritual guy once, I swear to you, when I was 23. He was laughing at us about the moon and the stars. I knew that we didn't arrive to the moon because of certain movies, but the stars doesn't exist. I spat on him, literally. A 55-year-old man, I swear to you. That's who I was. I would have literally stabbed a flat earther 10 years ago. I would have kicked out my own cousin. You understand what I mean? None of us wake up and say, you know what, we want to be those crazy psychos in society and we want to promote this bullshit. We all were scientists in our ways. We all loved Star Wars and Star Trek, and we all wanted to get off this planet, and we all believed in lots of stuff. Unfortunately, we followed the path, and we do not go for Richard Dawkins' words of evolution. We go to the labs. We look at the fossils, and then we realize that this fossil is a fake. We can't promote it. When we look at the anatomy of a horse, and then we realize that a black NBA player and a midget are both humans, we don't say that the midget evolution so that he can reach the bananas on the tree, and that's why a black man is so tall. You understand what I'm saying? So go for the science. Look, there's a website, look it up now, called Descent from Darwinism. Look it up. Descent from Darwinism. 3,000 PhD scientists in Israel, in England, in France, and America say that there isn't enough experimental proof to promote Darwinism. And all of them are in cell biology and biologists and chemists. Do you believe in that website? Do you believe in it?
I don't know. I
You have a phone?
Yeah, I can check.
Put it now. Because this is going to be a big step for you. Because if you say, what? All these scientists with PhDs are against what I'm learning in school, then maybe it's easier for you to calculate. Because unfortunately if we take PhDs in astronomy and celestial mechanics, the first thing they'll do is confirm that we're dummies and that we put
What's
descent from Darwinism. And then you're going to see, descent, D-I-S-S-E-N-T, from, you know how to spell that, Darwinism, from Darwin, then add the ism at the end. Press enter.
this one?
Yeah.
Wait.
Don't worry, I have 5 phones. Yeah, I'm a millionaire too. Okay, here. There is, see it? Guys, look for the proof.
Sure.
Look at this. Now download the list. Okay, now here it's going to tell you the name of the scientist, which university he is, and what academic PhD degree he has. All of them against Darwinism. Like this list, there's another one that talks about free energy. There's another one that talks about what we are. Is basically something called what? Heliocentric or geocentric? Who are we? Do you know who we are? Who are we? Geocentric or heliocentric?
Once again, I'll explain to
what does heliocentric and geocentric mean?
it doesn't mean anything because relativity. There's no absolute in the universe except the speed of light. That's
light is rubbish. Sound is faster than speed of light. Okay. Put proof.
So how do you explain that you hear a lightning before?
I'll explain. Ask and I'll explain. Because the lightning hits the dome and comes all the way back. That's why it takes a little bit longer because it's going 5,000 miles. Whereas the light is a couple of miles away. You understand, my brother? Sound is faster than light. Sonoluminescence proves that sound hitting a bubble creates light. Sound pulses, proof sound pulses.
Cymatics.
Okay. Other than cymatics and what sound does, boils water, heals DNA. We have been led to believe that it's all about light. 286,000 miles an hour. A second, sorry. That's what light is, and that's why it takes 8 minutes for the sunlight to come down because it's 93 million miles away. Put proof, sound pulses faster than light. PhDs in an experiment in America in a university. You need to go down this rabbit hole away. Right now what you did is wasted my time because I have beautiful messages to explain to my brothers. Instead,
there's a guy from this list who's in my university.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him.
Let him FaceTime me with you.
I'm
and
gonna
with
ask
all
him.
the books. Okay.
I'm gonna ask him if you really signed this.
If he what?
If you really signed this thing.
You understand or sign? What do you say?
If he agrees to be on this list.
Okay.
Okay?
You're a beautiful man. I'm not saying no. Okay? But you have to understand. Look at this.
I'm just gonna check.
Look at this. Judy Mikovits, PhD scientist. She was arrested. Okay? Doctor fired, jailed, and broke. She proved that vaccines created autism. So they told her, you're going to tell her that this proof is nonsense or we're putting you in jail. She didn't accept that they put her in jail. This is true.
Dr. Andrew Wakefield as well.
John Bedini, a scientist, an American. He was in the military for 25 years, an engineer. He created something called free energy through sounds because he was working with speakers. He would go up to guys like this and tell them, you know what? If you get a coil, a copper, you resonate, all that stuff. They killed him and his brother. And his brother. John Bedini died November 5th, 2016, a year and a half ago. What I'm trying to tell you, this is real information. What is conspiracy? That a friend of mine died? How stupid are you to answer me that way? You think I'm going to say something and not take it to the court? Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Let's see the conspiracy camera of this little boy calling me a conspiracy. Let it open. Free Energy died unexpectedly Saturday, November 5th. Free Energy researcher. 4 hours after his brother Gary died, who was his partner? Who wrote this? Go to the burial of New York City. What are you doing? Stupid. I'm telling you, a friend of mine died. What do you mean who wrote this? What do you mean who wrote this? Now you're disrespecting me. I just told you a friend of ours died. Start by saying me here.
How do you know it's been killed by the government? How do you know it's being killed by the government or whatever institution you think it's?
Oh, you mean why him and his brother died 4 hours in between after he was threatened and he gave information? Oh, that is a conspiracy. That is a conspiracy. So the guy was promoting free energy. He was threatened. Him and his brother both died within 4 hours of each other. His family saying the guy was healthier than an ox.
Okay.
So we're gonna call it a conspiracy. You know what? Just like JFK, he was a conspiracy.
Stop it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Did promote free energy to people that believed him, and they like where were the threat coming from?
When you are promoting something that is against the best interests of the corporations, like Nikola Tesla's Wardenclyffe Towers, where he was able to resonate to ley lines, which is what we have, positive, negative ions, and he was able to resonate, get the electricity, and send it through electromagnetism to the city of New York. And they were like, oh my God, this guy's gonna give free energy to everyone. Shut him down, shut him down. Burn his building down, let's get him broke. He's an idiot, he didn't do anything, he's a psycho. We put him as this evil scientist. After he dies 20 years later, you know what? He did discover radio. It was in Marsigny of Italy. That's what happens to you, my friend. My own cousins would have me killed because he's into evolutionary psychology.
You realize Tesla fell in love with a pigeon at the end of his life?
He what?
He fell in love with this pigeon at the end of his life.
You are more important than a pigeon. I can give you 20 million of my money, and that's normal in your country, but I can't talk to a pigeon? Are you crazy?
They had him locked up in the New Yorker.
You're crazy.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. God bless you for your beautiful words and your kind words. I hope today you take 0.1% of what I said, only, and you research it so that in your third generation of life, you'll maybe start thinking, you know what? Maybe they did get to the moon 3 times, not 20 times.
6 times?
That's all I want.
Now they didn't make it on purpose, did they?
Okay, I'm gonna let you there. I think I'm gonna check if this academics actually is on this list. I'm pretty sure it's not.
I want to tell you something about peer review science. Everything you guys have was 15 years in the making.
Apparently, this guy is from my department, and Reed Dobbs is actually we actually agreed to be on this list.
What he was? You found him?
No, it's written in my department.
Spread love. And remember to choose compassion always over hate and over fear. Don't be scared. Don't be, and you are being watched. Like I'm coming here. I'm coming here. 100%. Like the Truman Show, you are being watched. Remember.
Can I have your number?
Yeah.
That was a bit hard.